you're down in trouble and you need a helping hand, and nothing, oh, nothing is going right. It's going right. Just close your eyes and think of me. Soon I will be there to brighten up, oh, even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, 'cause I'll come running just to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, fall, all you gotta do is call. You said I'll be there, yes I will. Ain't it good to know that you got a friend when people can be so cold? They hurt you and they can desert you. They'll take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them. No. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, 'cause I'll come running just to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, fall, so all you gotta do is call. You said I'll be there, yes I will, and I'll be there, yes I will, and I'll be there, yes I will. You got a friend.
Jason. Jason Goldstein, our co-musical director.
Yes.
I'm glad you got the notice on what to wear today.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes that happens. You're back.
I am.
Oh my goodness, yes. How were the fall colors?
It was beautiful. We were away for 26 days, 14 different beds.
Measuring your vacation by the number of beds. I'm going to use that. I want to welcome everybody this morning to the Granada Hills Center for Spiritual Living. We're located in the North San Fernando Valley. If you're on live stream this morning, you're welcome too. And Thibault and France, if you're there, we're here. Okay, so Wayne, our presider this morning, Wayne McDonald, one of our practitioners. Our call to service is called Lighting the Flames of Faith. We perform the ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from that one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. As Wayne lights the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. The second candle we light for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle we light for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the 10th candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives and for the space we hold for them at our center. And as Wayne lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. Yes, we light this flame with faith. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our souls. There is one flame, one light within.
Please join me in this opening treatment, and I invite you to close your eyes if you'd like. And as you go within, listen. Listen to the music. That's God speaking to you. God is that joy, love, and beauty. This quiet moment of oneness with Spirit. I know right here, right now, this service unfolds in that perfect place of ease, rhythm, synchronicity, peace, and harmony. And I know that the center is healthy and it is delight for everyone in our community and online. And I'm so grateful to be here. And I give thanks for the oneness of that Christ consciousness that's guiding and directing my life, this life. And with a grateful heart, I'll release these words into the law, knowing it's complete and done, and together we say, and so it is. 3 years ago, I stepped into a new chapter, becoming the primary caregiver for my mom, Evelyn. I've been a caregiver many times, and as I said it in the first service, and I'll say it again, if you're looking for a caregiver, check in Sparks Hall and sign up. Every week, I visit my mom, and it's not because I have to, because I choose to. I choose to enjoy the moments we share, whether it's a doctor's visit, lunch together, going to the dentist and having her tooth pulled, or just folding her laundry while we talk. But I also made another conscious choice. I decided our time wouldn't just be about the role of mother and son, but instead as two adults, two friends meeting each week. That very subtle shift changed everything. It happened when I started to approach our time together through the lens of observation. Observation, I've come to realize, is more than just watching. It's a spiritual practice. When I observe others with holy attention or witnessing, we step into a deeper awareness of both their humanity and our own. Whether it's in her room or taking her downstairs for lunch and smiling at the other residents, mindful reservation helped me to see beyond the surface. It invited empathy, compassion, and connection. Observation as a spiritual practice is a way of being fully present, witnessing life as it unfolds. And in that witnessing, I noticed something sacred was happening. Life became richer and far more vibrant. The Dalai Lama says, "I have found that the greatest degree of inner tranquility comes from the development of love and compassion. The more we care for the happiness of others, the greater is our own sense of well-being. Cultivating a close, warm-hearted feeling for others automatically puts the mind at ease. It is the ultimate source of success in life." What I've also noticed through the practice of observation is that I stop speaking from my small self, the part that wants to fix or control things, and instead begin to listen and sense from my higher self. It's the space where God is and I are one. Each week with Mom, Evelyn, and I realize that I'm not just caring for her. I'm being taught how to live life. Every visit becomes a lesson in love, patience, and compassion. The Dalai Lama says, "A heart full of love and compassion is the main source of my inner strength, willpower, and happiness and mental tranquility." He also said compassion is not religious business, but it is a human business. And to you, love, peace, and joy. And so it is.
Moon River, wider than a mile. I'm crossing you in style someday. Old dream maker, you're heartbreaker. Wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. It's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and just waiting round the bend. My huckleberry friend, River and me. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and just waiting round the bend. My huckleberry friend, Moon River and me. Moon River and me. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Announcements. Practitioners are available today in the treatment room, which is just outside this door, for a 2-minute tune-up. And I know we have some practitioners here today. And practitioners are great when things are going well. And they can make it even better. Go from living your best life to your better life. And today, after the second service, this is the second service. So join us for a potluck after this service. Also today, the LOA online group will meet later today at 2 p.m. And I like this. You have to be part of the LOA online group to know. You have to be in the in-group to know what LOA is. That's for Law of Attraction. It is. Also, coming up is a Harvest Festival, and even the people online can participate. So the Harvest Festival is happening on November 8th from 6 to 9. This is a good time to buy your tickets now. And the sale goes on until 10/29. Purchase the tickets either online or check with Danny, and there's information in the Sparks Hall. And at this time, Chloe's going to bring up the, is Barbara doing it? Okay. Then, thank you, Barbara. Gratitude box.
Gratitude box. Okay. My new friend picked one this morning, and it says, I am grateful and thankful for my unfoldment in Christ consciousness. Yeah,
Thank
nice
you.
one.
And let's see. Okay, so at this time, please stand for the Declaration of Principles, and those online can also say these aloud at home. Begin. We believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal too, and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon the law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal love and kindness,
and the givingness of life to all.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. Yes, I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Hey, thank you. You know, before I get started, I want to thank everybody who came out to help with the Granada Hills Street Fair yesterday. Nobody expected it to be quite that hot, and it kind of took its toll on a few people. I think it was probably one of the best street fairs that we've had. There was a congeniality that surpassed the events and the music and the food and all the other things that go on. And to even sit for a couple hours in that hot booth. You know, if you were Catholic, you'd all be getting a plenary indulgence. You'd go straight from, you wouldn't have to go to purgatory. You'd go straight to heaven. So I just want you to know that. All right, I want to thank Reverend Mike for asking me to fill in today. He has a wedding, and, you know, no accounting for other people's schedules, and so I'm up here again. It's getting a little familiar, as the saying goes. But for those who may not know who I am, my name is Maureen Hoyt, and I am the former pastor of this church, started in 1995 and left in 2009 to go back to Thousand Oaks, primarily to be closer to my children and my granddaughter. And Mike and I both stand on the shoulders of the previous ministers who were here, not the least of which is Reverend Dr. Kathleen McLaughlin, who was here for forever. Yes, forever, until she became the primary caregiver of her husband, and she left and retired. So you can see by the charter hanging in the foyer, we've been here since 1963. We're not brand new by any stretch of the imagination. And if I remember correctly, we used to meet at the Women's Club over on White Oak before we purchased this building. And I think 1976. We have a grand history here, and we plan on having a much longer history than probably outlive Reverend Nancy and I. And in November, we celebrate 63 years. So the topic title for this week is Inner Illumination. And it reminded me of a story that Reverend Dr. David Leonard told me. He's the longtime minister of the CSL in Huntsville, Alabama, the Bible Belt interesting that a religious science church would be that successful in the Bible Belt. But as the young people came up through the ranks, he found a burgeoning congregation, and that perhaps traditional religion didn't work very well for a lot of the younger people. Some of you might remember Helen Street, Reverend Helen Street. She was at Glendale for a while. She came to Glendale from Hawaii, and she was an absolutely bright spirit in our movement. There just was no getting around it. And she came to Glendale in the days when it was still kind of a good old boys club. She glowed up everyone who met her. I mean, when you were in her presence, she had your undivided attention. You had her undivided attention. That if it was after church on Sunday and she was talking to Myrna, nobody else was around. That was how she made people feel special, I think. And she exemplified the love that this teaching is, that Ernest Holmes talked about. And her loving nature was often misconstrued by those who wanted her to be their private instructor in the religious science movement. And it was often difficult for her because she knew that people wanted to attach themselves to her. They wanted her energy. They wanted her love. They wanted to be like her. And she couldn't do that for other people. They had to find it for themselves. But David Leonard was someone who felt a special kinship with Reverend Helen Street, because he also exemplified the loving nature Ernest Holmes talked about. And he was taught by a very strict, by-the-book religious science minister. And when he got his own church, he just laid the love on everyone there. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger. But one day, during a conversation with Reverend Helen Street at a seminar, David blurted out, he said, "I'm so in love with you." Without missing a beat, Helen looked at him and said, "Honey, you're not in love with the lamp, you're in love with the light within the lamp." And David said she was right. He had fallen in love with what she represented, not the person. And it was such a revelation to him. Now, the first time I heard Reverend Helen speak, she said, "I'm not here to teach. I am here to prompt you to think about life in a new way." I used to go to the Simi Valley Church before I became a minister, and they did 2 services on Sunday. So I'd go to the 9 o'clock service, and Maureen McCauley, who used to be the church administrator here, and I would get in the car and go like a bat out of hell to Glendale so we could hear her at the second service. And she went on to say, we are responsible for our own happiness. If we expect others to make us happy, we will always be disappointed. You know, it's not my job, man. That's not my job. You know, some time ago, I looked up the root word of disappointment. One definition includes the obvious, unmet expectations. We have unmet expectations and we feel disappointed, right? Perhaps if we told the person who disappointed us what we wanted in the first place, we wouldn't have experienced the disappointment. In fact, in the Hoyt household, everyone is required to make a wish list for Christmas, before Christmas, like in October, which, as you might imagine, foregoes any possibility of disappointment. Everyone gets exactly what they want with a few tiny deviations. I'm the deviator because I'm the mother, I can do it. Emma Curtis Hopkins, if you haven't gotten to know her in your time as a religious scientist, she's one of my favorites. In this little quotation, she said, "All truth is waiting for us to plainly say what is our good. The Speaking out continuously what we have felt and thought intuitively is the first movement toward demonstration, toward manifestation, toward satisfaction. I believe her. I believe her when she says anything. I believe her. But the more profound root definition of disappointment is failure to keep our appointment with God. That's an actual definition. Failure to keep our appointment with God. Or it could also be our failure to keep our engagement with God. You know, God doesn't leave us. We separate ourselves from God. When we release the outcome of our desires to the wisdom of Spirit, there is never any disappointment because the right and perfect result is already set in motion. And through our surrender to a higher ideal than some of us could entertain, the right and perfect demonstration takes place. Emma really does tell it like it is. If we have a problem, I surrender it to God and let go of the outcome. The God of my understanding would never create a problem in my experience without a solution already in place. And that's the good news, the absolute good news. Furthermore, what I might call a problem may simply have its roots in my errant thinking. So change your thinking, change your life. We've heard that over and over and over again, right? There's an African proverb that says, no matter how sharp our teeth are, we can't bite water. Now, I looked up what that meant because, wait, what does that mean even? What that means is that each problem comes with its own solution. We must take the time to understand the nature of the situation in order to take action or before we take action. If we can't see the forest for the trees, we have some really effective practitioners at our center who will know the truth for us when we can't or don't want to see it for ourselves. But you go to a practitioner, you got to be prepared to do the work because we meet each other in a practitioner session halfway. Halfway. You do your part, I do my part. My part is only to do the spiritual mind treatment for you. Your part is to be receptive to it. Sometimes that's easier said than done. I'm meme happy today. The limitations we find encircling us have but one source. They spring from our thought. They are the result of our negative habitual thought patterns, conscious or tucked away in the subconscious, which may have been instigated by our past experiences or the blind acceptance of what we now appear to be the wrong ideas and concepts of others. You know, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., in his book, after his father wrote The Four Agreements, Don Miguel Jr. said, everything in life is filtered through perception or projection. I'm either projecting something on somebody or I have a preconceived perception of what that person is or does. Speaking of inner illumination, tomorrow is the festival of Diwali. It goes for 4 days and it starts Monday, October 20th. Diwali is also known as the Festival of Lights. It's a Hindu tradition that symbolizes the spiritual victory of light, goodness, and knowledge. This week, we're invited to celebrate these sacred qualities in honor of our Hindu family. The story that comes with the celebration is the following poem. Grandpa watches the waning moon. The festival is coming soon. Our house must look its very best. Diwali's here, no time to rest. We hang buntings of mango leaves. They welcome gods, Grandma believes. We wear new clothes to mark the cheer. We have waited all through the year. Time for stories about our gods who found evil against all odds. We ring the bells this darkest night. We sing the hymns, chant, and recite. The moon is new as night descends. We light the lamps with all our friends. We exchange gifts and homemade sweets. We greet our neighbors in the streets. Fireworks whiz, shimmer, and glow. The skies brighten in the sparkly show. Dinner's ready. It's full of treats. We stay awake as night retreats. It's good fortune the new year brings. It's lucky to start brand new things. And she says, Shub Diwali to one and all. We wish you joy, big and small. This was written by Chitra Sandar, and the poem is called Shub Diwali. I had to look all of those things up. But this poem, interestingly enough, translates to the science of mind. And it comes out of Ernest Holmes' book, Can We Talk to God? Ernest Holmes says there is a power and presence in the universe which responds to us so completely and so perfectly that we shall be amazed when we realize how completely and how perfectly. But it can only operate for us by operating through us. We're the vehicle. You know, I say this on Sundays a lot, but God so loved itself, it needed form to express, and it expresses as each and every one of us here today. So it's working through us. Our communication with God must of necessity be and always remain an inner light. We communicate with the indwelling God. Ernest also says our consciousness comes before us in all things, so that when we enter a room, people know who we are immediately. We don't have to say anything or do anything. They know who we are intrinsically. They may not say anything about it, but they know who we are. Now that's the good news and the bad news, all rolled into one. You know, you come in here with a cranky face and somebody's going to ask you about it, right? Somebody's going to say, are you all right? What's wrong with you? And you say, nothing, with a little snarky voice. And we immediately know that there's something going on. Ernest Holmes makes it clear that spirit is the inner light that dwells in all of us. Our inner illumination comes from the source of the divine itself. We can all talk to God and access that light within. Our individual glow is inspired, designed, and guided by the truth that resides in all of us. And what is that truth? We know this unequivocally. God is all there is, period. The end. God is all there is. There is no glow without the original glow of the presence of the divine. A true glow is an inside job, doesn't come from without. Although I will say, when one of my kids enters the room, I think I light up like a light bulb. But because I see a demonstration of my efforts as a parent. It's not just growing beautiful with age, as many in this congregation have done, and the younger ones have yet to do. It's also about the wisdom gained from our experience. Our inner light requires deep personal healing practices. Journaling, meditation, and prayer are all the tools that you learn here at this center if you go to class. And many of us were familiar with those tools before we came here. It just cemented what we were already doing when we came to this beautiful place. Next week, I'm going to participate in Reverend Jeannie Hoffman's celebration of Samhain, the Day of the Dead, which she has created as one of her own rituals, and she invites a whole bunch of us to come and do it with her, right? It's an amazing experience to honor those who have left this earthly plane before us. Just like our own interpretations of spirit vary, it's valuable to use our imagination to create personalized spiritual practices. You know, there are no rules, and our imagination has no limits. Consider taking the time to explore how inner illumination looks different for all of us. How many hours of the week do we dedicate to remaining in silence or honoring a personal Sabbath? You know, silent is an anagram for listen. Listen is an anagram for silent. We have to do both. Tending to our own inner light requires dedicated spaces to explore our individual understanding of spirit. My friend Eric Chrisman used to say, there's nothing more orgasmic than a bunch of people sitting around talking about God. You know, it's like, it's a high. Like, you know, we all have our interpretations. The word God is just a placeholder anyway. You know, what does that thing called G-O-D represent? Or if you're a dog person, D-O-G, you know? What does that represent for us? As I said in a recent talk, some of the most spiritual people I know have never gone to church. They commune in nature. Or like my son, he rides his bicycle to the ocean to watch the sunset almost every day after he's been sitting at a computer all day. That's his outlet. And my friends who've created their own dedicated spiritual environment in a spare room in their homes, they have it right there. All they have to do is walk a few steps, and they're in their own space of silence and meditation. Thankfully, no matter where we are, the light within all of us is available to guide the development of spiritual practices that serve us most. Loving ourselves is another form of inner illumination. Many of us live in a culture where we were taught to fit in, but the reality is that we were born to stand out. And I watched 7 million people stand out yesterday. I didn't watch TV all day until I got home, and I was overwhelmed by the commitment. And I don't know how they even know this, but Velshi said, the guy on MSNBC, I can't think of his first name, Velshi said there was not one arrest made yesterday in all those demonstrations. You know, who's going to arrest a guy dressed as a frog? Or a rabbit, or, you know, there were so many people in costume that they even interviewed the people because they couldn't get their costumes off, but they interviewed them anyway. It was so cute, just so cute. God is cute sometimes, you know. Whenever we feel like an outsider, it can be difficult to love ourselves and allow our inner light to shine. Experiencing life as a member of a minority group may require deep healing to discover that light within. For instance, many Americans are working to identify the personal trauma that comes from living in a culture where white Anglo-Saxon Protestants were considered the standard of normal. Gen Z, the generation likely to be responsible for the glow-up movement, is leading a shift to honor and celebrate all people, even those who do not look like us or do not have the same spiritual beliefs that we have. My friend Gregory Toole wrote this a couple of days ago. He said, the soul has no citizenship, no ethnicity, no race, no religion, not even a gender. It is eternal. It is of God. What does the world look like if we only see the eternal divine nature in each person? That's a lofty ideal, would you not say? Maybe it's easy for some. We live in a time of instant news gratification. And I noticed in conversations with a few friends recently that there's that rabbit hole capability once we start watching the news. It becomes almost addictive. And, you know, somebody posted on Facebook just recently, my need to be informed is in direct contrast to my need for peace and serenity. You know, can we watch it and do what Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith said? Realize that it is a call to prayer. Whenever we see something that causes us any kind of angst, it's a call to prayer. A few months back, I made a decision to watch only 1 hour of news a day at the end of my workday or when I was eating my dinner. I still want to be informed. I need to be informed. My life seems to work much better these days. Yes, there's good news and bad news, and we see it indicated in the following meme. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things can be mended, not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. As we do our own healing work to let our inner light shine, we learn from the up-and-coming generations to co-create joyfully, celebrate a world that works for everyone. Then and only then can we move out into our world glowing with the inner light of a burgeoning God presence that has always been with us and works through us to live life more fully and more abundantly. We are all little glowworms, ready and able to shine our light in the world, knowing with God all things are possible. Thanks for having me today.
We have come together as family. We have come here as we are. We have come with arms wide open. We have gathered here in love. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. We'll raise a roof with shouts of praise. The Spirit is in this place. We sing in celebration. We sing with words of prayer. We affirm all life as sacred. We declare that peace is here. Well, Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. We'll raise a roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Your Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit raise a roof with shouts and praise. The Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. The Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. The Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Raise a roof with shouts and praise. The Spirit is in this place.
Goldstein.
Thank
That's
you.
a beautiful song. We got a little of Henry Mancini this morning, and we got,
Yeah.
who wrote that?
That was Denise Rosier.
I have no idea who that is.
She's a great songwriter.
No idea. Wonderful, though. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this is our time of conscious giving. My favorite part. One of the students in my writing class wrote a story about a demonstration that she had a few years ago when we did this class called Write It Down and Make It Happen. And she was invited to go with two other friends to China, but the trip would have cost $7,000, right? And so she had to say, she had to pass. She had to pass. She couldn't see her way clear to spend that kind of money to go on a trip. Well, about a month before the trip, one of the women that was supposed to go fell and broke her wrist very badly, and she phoned her and said, I want you to take my place on the trip. And first of all, she said, no, I can't do that. That's way too much. She said, no. And she said, you still have a month. Your wrist will probably heal. But of course it didn't. It was very badly broken. And she ended up having to have surgery to get some pins put in. So she called her back and said, you're going. It's my treat. You don't have to pay me back. You're going to China. And of course, environs. And it was a trip of a lifetime, she said. But her glass ceiling of receptivity was challenged, let's put it that way, by receiving such a magnanimous gift. Well, when she came back, she sent her friend $3,500, which is exactly half of what she paid for the trip. And her friend treated her like she'd given her the moon. And she said it was one of the most wonderfully reciprocal moments of her life. The first part was when she called me and said, I can't believe this is happening. I said, but you put it on your wish list. Why would you not believe it could happen? Clearly there must have been something there. Anyway, I'm saying that only because, again, if you're in class and you spend time learning what you really can have in your toolbox, miraculous things happen. So, let's hold our gifts in our hand this morning and just repeat after me. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyfully contribute to the vision of this center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. For those of you who came with check in hand like I do, please come up and fill the basket.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit receives through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us.
So this is really a divine opportunity.
Go to the microphone. Yes.
Have to. I'm not wired. I am wired.
Yes, you are.
So this is a divine opportunity to be in attitude of gratitude. To be grateful as we think this opportunity to participate in being an avenue through which the spiritual presence of life is flowing into manifestation. And this process and this understanding and this sense of being able to not only give, but to receive the gifts of being. We are standing on that cutting edge of life and looking up. And as we look up, we glow up. And in this awareness and in this understanding, we know that this is a process of just opening ourselves up to the greater expression of life, knowing that these gifts, it's not only the center that it blesses, but each one of us to have a place in which we can share and open our hearts to the love of life. And knowing that we are totally surrounded by that love from each person that we are sharing this with. Not only online, but here in person. And as we open ourselves to this, we know that the blessing not only radiates through us and our life, but it goes forth to bless not only our community, our city, our country, and the whole, all of being, not only human being, but every being. And as nature has given us this opportunity, we say thank you. And with this consciousness, we let it be so as we radiate and go forth to not only give it to ourselves, but to every soul that touches our life. And in this consciousness of gratitude, we join together in saying, and so it is.
In that place of gratitude, let's go within one more time and close out this service. And I invite you to close your eyes if you wish. And as we know and recognize, God is a glowworm, and so am I. Let's joyfully be that spark, that light of God, and know I am the light. I am the love. And I give thanks for this service, and I give thanks for this community, and I give thanks to be in service. And I know that as we go about our day today and the week, we shine brighter, and we do the impossible because it's easy. Life is good. Life is peace, love, and joy. And with a grateful heart, I just release to the law, knowing it's complete and done. And together we say, and so it is.
Please join me in singing the peace song. On earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as a power, united all are we. us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in